I'm not going to blame this all on the players. Yeah, they should have definitely motivated themselves to have their best performance in a key game. That really would have put this season away. They really would have it would have been so easy to make the playoffs after that. But what about Kyle? I think that it's fair to say he's a good coach. He clearly brings value to an organization. His playbook's terrific. But I don't think he's a head coach. I think, and not just because of this one game, but I think it's symptomatic of what my issue is with him. What is a head coach? A head coach is a leader. Bottom line, you can't be a good head coach if you're not a leader. And what makes a leader? The players have to believe in you and trust you. And I think they did believe and trust in Kyle for a long time, despite his losing record. But this year, I think it's hard to trust him because he has so many mixed messages. And you have no idea what the vision is, what he means, when he's trolling, when he's telling the truth. And do they believe in him? Well, a team that believes in their coach doesn't do what they just did in Seattle. Doesn't do what they did when they faced Colt McCoy. I mean, it doesn't look like he can get his players to at least give a consistent effort the way that like Mike Vrabel can or Mike Tomlin can. I mean, those guys may not be the coordinators that Kyle is, but you see what I'm saying? They're actual natural leaders, and players trust them, believe in them, and those guys seem to have consistent success as opposed to Kyle.
Yeah, so I think there's other thing you've talked about it before, but you didn't mention it there, and I think it's something that leads to those two things happening, and that's accountability.
Yes.
The ability to be accountable, to put yourself out there first, and then your players will trust you and believe
right.
in you. When you're just panning blame out to other people, then it's like I've been watching like World War II history lately, and some information about like two guys like Patton and Rommel, who would consistently be out there on the front lines, and people would their troops would follow them to anywhere because they would hang their head out out there. And anytime there's any situation where Kyle could be blamed or there's an opportunity for Kyle to put his neck out there, he doesn't.
Here's how I judge a leader. Why do you want to be a leader? It's a key question. Why do you want to be the head coach? Why do you want to be the leader? Is it for your ego, or is it to help these people? Is it because you sincerely want to help these people? That's a different thing. I mean, if you want to help the people beneath you, it's not about your ego. It's not about glory. It's not about credit. It's all about getting results for other people. Like I think Jesse Naylor calls that servant leadership. With Kyle, and I think with his dad, and with, frankly, most head coaches in the NFL, it's about their ego. And my issue with Kyle is that his ego is so large, and he doesn't warrant it. I mean, it's large, and people let him get away with it because he's Mike Shanahan Jr., but frankly, man, you're still several games under 500. Several games under 500. So, no, I think he's a leader for the wrong reasons, and I think he's immature. Why is he throwing passes all the time? You can't be the quarterback of this team. You're constantly undercutting the quarterbacks you have, and the image you project is a dude who wishes he was a scout team quarterback of the 49ers. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Like, grow up, man. It's an immature look. Always with the ball in your hand, always trying to throw, always trying to undercut your quarterback. No. I mean, I don't think he's a head coach at all. I don't think he's a leader of men.
Harbaugh liked to throw the ball around and get in there.
He was a quarterback.
And he was a leader.
He was a quarterback. He played in the NFL. Kyle didn't. It looks like a kid who's like fulfilling his boyhood fantasies, dreams. Nah, I think it's a bad look.
Yeah, I could see how it's a bad look. I don't necessarily.
It's not the main issue. It's just.
It's a bad look.
It's symbolic. It's symbolic.
I think. Yeah, I didn't really necessarily think so much about that. Just the fact that
I wasn't sorry.
Yeah, that was just for me. For me, I don't like that he never takes blame for anything. I think I heard him take blame one time, or maybe two times, but he never.
And that has the biggest impact on his quarterback. I mean, I'm not a big Jimmy Garoppolo fan, but you really can't get the most out of your quarterback if that's your attitude constantly. So you got to lie to your quarterback, man. Lie to him. Look him in the eyes and lie to him. Tell him he's great.
The first thing you have to do to fix mistakes, you have to admit them.
Yeah.
And if your head coach isn't admitting them, then why would your players admit their mistakes?
And that's the personality of his team, right? We didn't lose the Super Bowl. Let's party with Lil Wayne. We didn't lose. The refs screwed us, but hey, that's football. We'll get them next year. Revenge tour.
Right.
Right.
And like, I remember, I think it was last year, like Trent Williams was asking, he was like, "Nah, I'm good. Like, I'm doing great. And he is. He's the best left tackle right?
Hey, we lost to Seattle and just gave away a game we should have won, but Trent Sherfield got held in the playoff. So what are you going to do? We feel good. It's all right. We'll get him next week. All right, cool. As long as you feel good about it.
Yeah, it starts from the top and filters down. So if your head coach
was it my fault?
Yeah, if your head coach isn't being accountable, how do you expect the players to be accountable? And that's just not even head coach, but in anything in business. Like,
again, good coach, not a head coach. And what is a head coach? A head coach is a leader of 53 men. It's a rare skill. And if you look around the NFL, I don't think you find many head coaches who actually fit the bill. So I'm just saying, because who gets promoted? Coordinators, play callers. Those guys are not natural leaders most of the time. The guys who are natural leaders usually are the position coaches, but those guys aren't becoming head coaches most of the time.
Well, it's because the progression is. All the guys have pretty much been coordinators that were position coaches prior to that.
Right.
But I think.
But I just feel like what you can be a great coordinator without having a lick of leadership. A great coordinator.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Yep. And those are the guys. But the great coordinators get promoted, and then they're like, "Oh my God, he's not a leader." Well, yeah, that is not a requirement to be. It's not a requirement at all. And that's the thing about Kyle. If you put him in the right environment with the right head coach and the right GM, damn, you could win a lot. I think if he deferred to a head coach and a strong general manager, but that's not going to happen here.
Kyle could still be an effective offensive coordinator.
I think he could, absolutely. If he had a Tony Dungy to be the head coach, I mean, not Tony Dungy now, but if you put him in the right organization with the right head coach, yeah, hell yeah, good coach. But give him the keys to the kingdom, I don't know, man, not the leader.
It's also possible.
Give him the keys to the kingdom, all of a sudden he's quarterback of the team.
It's also possible he could grow as a coach. I mean, he's not. That's also possible.
How many more years we have to wait for that, though?
But we'll talk about this a little bit. I don't think it'll happen here in San Francisco, but that sort of growth usually happens after when you move on to your next job, or you get demoted, and you have to go back to being a coordinator and sort of thing.
Dylan Mountain says Thomas and Demo pushing the starting quarterbacks. Why not play them? I'd rather Ambry have a mental lapse than watch Norman get torched every possession. We're going to talk about Norman in a minute. And we're also going to talk about Demo too. We're going to go positive and in the future and future looking right now. We wanted to wrap up last week and get all the complaining out because I'm not done ranting on a Tuesday. The problem is our receivers aren't 9 feet tall and that's Jimmy's go-to zone. How you throw high every time besides the first time it counted. How you throw because his mechanics are so awful. If you don't use your feet, you're going to be pretty scattershot, and sometimes you're going to miss high. Sometimes he misses low. Sometimes he misses behind. Sometimes he rhymes slow. Sometimes he rhymes quick. It's tough.
Yeah, you know who I thought, and this would have been a viable option maybe in the red zone is, what about Jennings? Like, I know you might say your boy Dwelly has the best mitts on the team, but I don't know. Jennings seems to have some awfully soft hands. Like,
yeah.
Like, he's made some pretty nice catches this past
week. But no, you had to go to Sherfield in that. Sorry. Better. Jeremy says, he should have been on the freaking field. He'd already committed 2. Come on. Jeremy Smith says, looking at this team, I see coach who's constantly making up for bad GM decision. Not an excuse for Kyle. Also, QC merch, take my money.
You don't have to tell Grant to take money.
I know. I just don't have time to figure out more ways. Thank you, though. Maybe in the offseason I'll figure it out. Jeremy, I love you. Appreciate it. Win or lose. Have you remember that song by Suicidal Tendencies called Give Me Your Money? It's like it's an old one, but it's a good one. I was listening to it and I was like, I relate to the song. Win or lose, York still make money. Harbaugh equals wins. So true. Hold on. Realer than real. Kyle got PTSD from RG3, so we won't let Trey be free. And now he's playing the Jimmy G fee. Bars. Historical hysteria, free Trey. Kyle got PTSD from RG3, so we won't let Trey be free. And now he's playing the Jimmy G fee. That was bars. Thank you. I didn't really spit it with any type of rhythm or flow, but that was dope. I loved it. I wish I could rap, but I can't. If we lose this week and Trey doesn't start next week, Kyle needs to be on the chopping block. If we get a new coach, I like Eric Bieniemy old school. Yeah. The only thing with Eric Bieniemy is it doesn't seem like two things. It seems like he doesn't interview well. I don't know if that is relevant, and he doesn't call the plays. Again, does that matter? Not sure. I guess what matters is he more of someone players would trust and believe in.
I think that, and I think what you just talked about is leadership, and then what's your plan? What's your plan?
Yeah.
And you get a sense of how are you going to run an organization, not how are you going to be a play caller or run an offense or that. As it relates to an offense or a defense, the question needs to be who would you hire to do that, to do those things. You could obviously have input in that. I mean, Andy Reid does, but Andy Reid oversees an entire team and is concerned with an entire team, and then also concerned with his offense as well.
Certainly. Calling it now, Trey Lance will play and win the game for us on Sunday. I dreamt it last night. Interesting. Well, I'm going to be in Cincinnati, so that would be something fun to cover. Can you trade Kyle to Michigan? I kind of like the guy that could send us back. Ooh, we're going to talk about Kyle trade possibilities in a minute. Thank you, Joshua. We will. I promise. We have a huge show today. A huge show. Scotty Dippin says, that's even better. Who is calling the shots? Jimmy's contract at the expense of the D. Armstead over D-Buck. Questionable drafts, not playing the future. I don't know. Are these group decisions? It's an organization, right? They're group decisions. No?
Yeah.
I guess Kyle. Grant, thanks for keeping it real with us and not being just another vanilla 49ers reporter. Oh, only for you, Christian. Thank you for $5.